Hello everyone, it is a wonderful day in Hyrule. The sun is shining, the cuckoos are clucking, and Ganon's rule is about to come to an end. We have two people looking forward to doing just that today. We have Korivain from Link Finds a Way, and GanonsGoneWild from I Like Big Boots. As you can see from the score, this is the second matchup between these two teams for this week. I Like Big Boots took the first one. I am Hammerbro today in the booth, and I am joined by the only ninja who knows how to make his own clothing. Say hello to Spyweaver for me. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderfully, getting ready here for some good randomizer action. As you said, Korivain from Link Away, taking on GanonsGoneWild from I Like Big Boots. Promises to be a good matchup for us. We got the Kakariko division in the Light World Conference on display by these two here today.
Yep. In terms of the seed settings, we're still on week 1, so we've got open 7-7, defeat Ganon. Everything's pretty much normal. We'll be switching to Ambrosia starting on Monday, I believe. But for now, we're still doing open as we get a heart in Link's house and just a key in the Sanctuary.
And off to a quick start here. I Like Big Boots, being represented, like I said, by GanonsGoneWild today. Other members, Relkin and Zerora. And then Link Finds a Way. Being represented by Korivain here today. Also members of that team, Mr. DNA and Ovidius Naso.
Awesome. We have a really early sword over in the secret passage here, so that is going to come in handy.
Nothing like getting that early sword out of the way. The uncle just giving us our allowance for the day, 20 rupees. That's going to be it at that. I can almost guarantee, though, that we're going to see Ganons take this sword right down to the front of Escape. Get yourself a solid weapon. No reason not to at this point.
So I would like to briefly mention that we saw something on the Lumberjack ledge. And there's something here in the mushroom spot, too. Holy cow, gotta go fast.
Boots sitting there in the mushroom spot. We got a potential necessary item sitting on Lumberjack yet again. This is already looking to be very, very interesting.
Yep, we will see if Turtle Rock is going to be a pendant today or a crystal. Wow.
Hello.
Okay, well, the items are falling fast and furious.
That was a mirror right there in our first chest in the front of Escape. That is something that, depending on our crystal layout later on, could end up being either a convenience item or a required item. Keep your eyes on that one as well.
Yeah, regardless of what's what, mirror is probably one of the most underrated items in my opinion. Not only do you get to check a couple things, but you can also check stuff a lot more. Oh my goodness, what in the world?
Going on? The front of this Escape is loaded. That's a hook shot now. What do we have going on here?
Okay, look, come on now. This is insane. Slow down, guys. Slow down. You're going to give our tracker a heart attack.
GanonsGoneWild finding all the right items right now at this moment. Korivain still looking for something here. Got the boots. That, once again, is a welcome item early on. But compared to what Ganons is finding, I think he'd rather make that swap right now. As I was saying, I think Korivain would like to make that swap. That is a Moon Pearl right there to wrap out the front of Escape.
What is this even at this point? What in the world is going on?
Well, Korivain just finds a lamp in the well as a shovel and the mitts. What is this seed? This is what, 3.5 minutes in, and we're finding a slew of items already.
You know, at this rate, by the time we're out of Kakariko, we're going to have to start talking about potential go mode here.
I think we need a map check to determine that one first, though.
it might not matter.
That is a good point. And there's another sword hiding in the chicken hut. Okay, that's kind of interesting. If you're keeping track at home now, that's 2 swords and a lamp.
Oh no, it's okay. It's only an ice rod. It's not like, Turtle Rock's gonna be a crystal.
Oh dear. Alright, well, Korivain taking them boots right over to library. Let's keep this up. Let's see if we got something sitting on library ledge for us today. Nope. Unfortunately, just 5 rupees. Gonna slow down here a little.
I mean, it had to eventually. There's 216 locations, and we only need something like 30 items. So, I mean, it had to slow down eventually.
Ganon's giving us an early check of Bonk Rock, something I don't believe Korivain gave us a look at. Just a piece of heart, however. Korivain continuing that route all the way down, going to give us a look at the shovel spot, however.
Yeah, anyone who's got Korivain in their fantasy might want to be careful. That's 2 bonks already. 3.
Ganon's about to get the wonderful news of what is sitting on Lumberjack Ledge here. Goes down, takes a little another peek. That, of course, is a rod.
Oh man, this is going to be interesting. Strap in your seatbelts, guys. This one's going to be fun.
Going to be? I think it already is with what we've gotten for items and what it's hiding for us already. Hoofda.
I'm sorry, make that noise again?
Exactly.
No, really. I want to hear that again. What was that?
The good old Midwestern oofda.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Midwesterners speak.
Alright, inside the dam, just a piece of heart as well, so not a whole lot coming out of the dam. Where are we gonna go with that sword? We are Mini Moldorm Cave. We're gonna continue down the South Shore route in Korivain's side here.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you got to keep in mind, from Korivain's side, this seed isn't insane yet. You got boots early. The glove is nice, as is the lamp. 1 sword, not bad. We had a fetch quest we already tried out and didn't work out. But without that mirror and hookshot and moon pearl, this seed is seeming relatively normal. Also, that was your last bomb. I don't think Korivain noticed that. We're going to need one of those for Ice Rod Cave, should they choose to attempt to get over there.
Stay a mini Moldorm with them, just a piece of heart. 5 rupees, another piece of heart. 20 more rupees, and some more bombs. Funny that she mentioned that they were just out.
Well, it was a convenient place to put them, so that ended up working out.
Ganon's about to grab their 2nd sword already, pretty much completing one of our favorite care packages in the game.
Oof.
And let's see what Ice Rock Cave is hiding for us today.
Alright, meanwhile, we did get a map check, and there are 3 crystals. Can you dash from that side? Does that work, or does it have to be the other side?
I believe either side will work.
Huh, I didn't know that. Anyways, as I was saying, from the map check, we have 3 crystals in the light world, and I believe we had a red crystal. I want to say that was at Eastern, but I'm not absolutely positive.
Yep, I just got a glance of it enough to see 3 crystals, and not really sure what was where, however.
Yeah, one thing these runners do is they check maps with frightening speed, if I'm being perfectly honest.
find a Cane of Burna there in a sequence-broken waterfall cave.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad find. Depending on what we end up getting and where we end up getting it, that does potentially put our lovely Spike Cave into logic. Korivain not having anywhere near enough money for Zora, so gonna go ahead and hop on back, probably take out Hobo right here as well.
Looks like Ganons is going to take that front of Escape look right on into the back. We'll see if the back of Escape is holding just as many items for us or not. First item, just 20 rupees. There's a map, and then 50 rupees. We got an item in Dark Cross, but we do have that lamp, so it's not going to be too much of an issue getting there. Hobo, meanwhile, having another 20 rupees for us today.
Yep, everything is slowed down just a bit at this point, and honestly, it had to. We're still looking at Eastern as a viable set of items. Sahasrarla's Closet has 3. Eastern has functionally 2.5 without the bow, since we don't know if Armos is going to hold an item out on us or not. Looks like Korivain's going to go ahead and take out Eastern, though, so going to get a boatload of items here.
Almost want to bet we might see Ganons decide to head up the mountain here. Let's go with that lamp and the glove in hand. Everything up the mountain, or at least getting up the mountain, I should say, is within logic. Then you got that hook shot to get over to the east side. That mirror as well, if you wanted to look at Spectacle Rock. I mean, you can pretty much get just about anywhere you want on this mountain right now. So I definitely like this play we're seeing here.
Yep, it also points out to a crystal that we can go into and complete. So a good move all around here. Knock out your first crystal, get yourself a boatload of items, and hope we get some progression so we don't have to do Aghanim.
Although I will say we did get that care package awfully early, so...
That's fair, but we technically only need either a hammer or mitts and the flippers to make Aghanim just an ice rod requirement.
We do have enough items up this mountain that potentially we could find them. But we shall see. Ganon's working their way up the longest ladder in the game. Showing us our first bottle sitting on top of Spectacle Rock. The inside of it, hiding for us, just 20 rupees, looks like.
Yep, we will also most likely get a Dark World map check, since both of our runners are going to be burning to know if that ice rod's going to be strictly required. Oh, come on, don't make a liar out of me.
Nope, to be determined on that one right there.
Alright, well, regardless of that, Hera is full clearable at this point. Pretty much everything, the only thing we cannot clear on Light Death Mountain here is the Ether Tablet. What?
That is one heck of a find up in Hera. That is a hammer.
Alright, so now we're just waiting on that Dark World map check to see if Ice Rod's a thing.
So we do have Dark World access. Whether or not we need to defeat Aghanim 1 is still up in the air, though, until we do get that Dark World map check.
Yep, for those of you who are perhaps unfamiliar, what you just saw there on GanonsGoneWild's side is a Hera pot clip. Because for a game that's 30 years old, we're still finding new ways to break it.
A nice pot clip that, if executed right within the first 1 or 2 attempts, will save you a decent number of seconds. Of course, after about the 3rd or 4th attempt, it basically just breaks even or starts losing you time versus climbing the normal way. Of course, notwithstanding if the big key will be hiding out in the bottom like we do have today.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk-reward thing, unless you're just go-moding Hera, in which case it doesn't really matter.
And we are moments away from finding out whether or not this would pay off. 2 quick sword spins to Moldorm. 1 more should be all it takes here. Maybe there it goes. 3 sword spins to the tail. Down goes Moldorm. That is crystal number 1. First blood at 14 minutes in for GanonsGoneWild. That is a compass. I believe we do have an item in that big chest now.
Yep, and if you thought that there being an item in the basement was bad, this one's quite a bit worse. It'll be interesting to see if GanonsGoneWild goes ahead and goes back in. Yeah, no, we're leaving it.
Yep, didn't want to spend the time the first time around to go ahead and get that big key. Not going to go ahead and spend the time for it right now, since we're still quite a ways away from basically getting everything we need to complete this seed. And of course, it is very early on. It probably feels fairly comfortable just leaving that 1 item to rot for the time being.
I don't know, man. With V31, I never feel comfortable leaving an item to rot anywhere. But we will see how it works out. These guys are running these seeds for a reason. They are very good. They know exactly what they're doing. So hopefully that won't come back to bite them. Korivain may or may not choose to do the Hera pot clip. So we might get knowledge of what's in there soon. We also might not. That item just might be chilling out there until, well, hopefully forever. Maybe until one of our runners has to go back and get it.
That'd be an absolute worst case scenario. It comes down to a point where, as a runner, you also have to make that decision that, if that's going to be the item I need, I am going to last location it, and I'm going to be 1000% fine with it. Meanwhile, however, we're on Ganon's side, finding the Ether Medallion on the bottom of Paradox Cave.
Yeah, these medallions are nice to get. Although, depending on what our Dark World crystal lineup is, perhaps less nice to get. But if you need either Turtle Rock or Mire, it's nice to have them just so you know whether or not you're in go mode.
And the rest of Paradox Cave coming up nothing for Ganon's. No good items hiding out down there. Korivain about to head on down and grab their final piece to their Dark World access, the hammer. They now can jump on into the Dark World whenever they see fit. We'll see if they go downstairs and decide to give us a coffee break or not for that big key. Map check. We got a crystal up in Turtle Rock. We got a red in Pod and Skull Woods. We got a green pendant in Swamp Palace, another pendant in Thieves Town, and our last pendant in Ice Palace.
Alright, well, this is officially an Aghanim seed.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We do need to do AGA 1. Ganon starts on in Hype Cave. So far, a whole lot of nothing. Blue Mail definitely will take that one along the way. That's all that one has for us today. Just a little bit extra safety.
Yeah, it's not terrible to pick it up, but at the same time, I think at this point our runners are kind of hoping for something of more substance.
Korivain drops into their Moldorm fight, opting for some hammer strats instead of some sword spin strats here. That's 2 hammer hits. 1 more to that tail, and down goes their Moldorm fight without any issue. 18 minutes in, that is crystal number 1 for Korivain, also getting the bad news and a few slashes to follow, that there is an item hiding in that big chest.
Yep, and I would not be surprised to see them skip it as well.
And for those of you just joining us here, 20 minutes, and this is week 1 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 2. We got a spicy seed on our hands already. AGA 1 was not required for Dark World access. However, we have Turtle Rock as a crystal, and the Ice Rod is sitting on Lumberjack Ledge. So AGA 1 is going to be required for that little tidbit at some point here within the match.
Yep. Meanwhile, a green goo on the pyramid ledge, so that's nice to go ahead and grab. Might come in handy at some later point.
Just another one of those nice little safety items that if they're sitting along the way, you may as well grab them as you go. Not something you might go too far out of your way for, but yeah, if it's right there, yeah, let's grab it, let's get on with our lives. And Ganon's taking this route from the Pyramid Ledge all the way on up to Catfish. What do you think our Grumpy Fish has for us today, Hammer?
I mean, we could go really funny and say it's like the bow, because that would just be absolutely hilarious. So I think I'm going to go with that. Let's go bow on Catfish. What are you thinking?
Big 20.
That's one. That's one today, Spy Weaver. Korivain better hold on to those sword beams because they are currently, there we go, they're currently bombless. They're going to need something to go ahead and hit that switch.
Alright, I believe we're going to be seeing... Oh, it is... Oh, that's right, I don't think Ganon's has actually done the South Shore checks yet.
No, both runners had some interesting choices given the items that they received relatively early, so we're going to go ahead and clean up some stuff that would normally have been done already.
That is true, and while both these runners are pretty much retracing each other's steps, don't forget to go ahead and visit them on their very own Twitch channels and give them all the love and support you can. Give them a follow, whatever else you want to do. They appreciate each and every little bit of support you can give them whenever they're running any kind of seeds, whether it be League or otherwise.
So, GanonsGoneWild deciding to forego the mini Moldorms with a lovely little fit of Ether Medallion. Meanwhile, Korivain getting sick kid and not getting terribly much from it, so we're going to head into the Dark World.
A little bit away from getting some new checks over on Korivain's side. Definitely like going into the Dark World over here at this point. It essentially gives you the entirety of Village of Outcasts that you can check. You can choose to route in the front of Skullwoods as well as some overworld checks. I know some runners have gotten in the habit of doing that, routing in the front of Skullwoods there, considering it overworld. Just of course because the back you don't need the big key for, and it's essentially a dungeon in and of itself. All you need is that fire rod to get on back there.
Yes. So looking at our pendants, this is definitely a seed where you would be just as happy to never, ever, under any circumstances, ever come across the flippers.
That is true with that pendant layout. As long as you avoid those flippers, you don't have to go and swamp. More importantly, for most of the runners, you don't even have to bat an eye at Ice Palace.
Yep, and as this seed gets later and later on, if we do manage to avoid those flippers, you will see our runners not even nary a glance at either of our waterlocked dungeons, because although we can break into Ice Palace relatively easy once we get the mitts and the fire rod, you're not going to be seeing that until we actually get the flippers.
Precisely. Ice Palace is one of those dungeons that most runners like avoiding if and when at all possible. Ooh, Gibtos not playing nice over here in Korivain's side. Gonna pull out a little bit of hammer hits. Oh, but getting grabbed then by the Wall Master just at the last second. That's unfortunate. We're gonna have to do this room all over again with one heart.
Korivain, the Ether Medallion is your friend. It murders everything. As we can see on GanonsGoneWild side.
Showing the nicer way of doing it. Ether Medallion makes quick work of a lot of these monsters in the game. Korivain, however, had to use that fairy that we got earlier on in our first battle. So keep that in mind now that Korivain is down a fairy compared to GanonsGoneWild at this point.
Yeah, that is a good point. And with the early mirror, it's less likely that we're going to be seeing death warps from our runners.
Yep, and all that to get to the back in that room for Korivain just for a small key. This could very well be. There's 2 items hiding in Skull Woods. Depending on where everything's laying out, it could very well be one of those instances that both items are hiding in the back. And just as I say that, we do find one of them, although it is just a full heart. But that does get GanonsGoneWild up closer towards that second row of hearts, which is always welcomed.
Yeah, no kidding. These guys are awesome at playing this game in general, and I'm willing to bet that the vast majority of people playing in this league would be perfectly fine, especially with Blue Mail sitting on, 8, 9, 10 hearts. But honestly, that second row of hearts always feels good.
I believe it is worth mentioning that since Korivain did take a drop in, if they didn't have any small keys after coming out of the pinball room here, they would essentially be soft locked and have to kind of reset themselves to get out of this dungeon. Version 31 changed that pinball room to not always have an assured small key in that chest. It can now contain a dungeon item or a unique item. So you always got to kind of be careful on how you're entering Skull Woods now.
Yep, that is definitely a situation where if you don't read the change log and you play a decent amount of randomizers, you could get burned by that one, like I did.
Again, it's giving us a look over here at the graveyard ledge. Just a piece of heart that can sit there for now. Korivain, meanwhile, starting out Village of Outcasts, finding a boatload of rupees in the chess game.
Yep, there's 300 rupees in a French vanilla location. Normally you have to come here or over to the Sea House to get a rupee hoard in the vanilla game, but we got one here for you. We'll see if we have another one. Not quite.
That was 50 for Korivain. However, on Ganon's side, in King's Tomb, we picked ourselves up a flute.
So I guess if GanonsGoneWild enjoys dancing, then they can do the ocarina.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
I just told you, we're gonna do the ocarina.
Anyways. Korivain heading on into Thieves Town. These front 4 chests, one is guaranteed to have a big key. The other 3 could either contain some other dungeon items or unique items. A lot of runners like to route these in as overworld checks as well. However, Ganon's just found us the Titan's Mitts over in Sea House, and Korivain actually just picks up that fire rod.
This is probably just selective memory on my part, but I really feel like Skull Woods and Thieves Town frequently enjoy holding progression for the other dungeon in themselves. So, talking about hammers in Skull Woods and fire rods in Thieves Town.
The good news is, however, you're not too far away from Skull Woods, so you can head right on over there and complete the whole thing on out if you wish at this point. Before even jumping in, though, Ganon's gonna take that mirror, grab his flute, and release ourselves the Albatross Air.
Yep, meanwhile, Korivain deciding to route the south way instead. So we're going to get Digging Game here, and then probably K45 and Stumpy to follow. Not too many digs, but not too much to show off for it. So, Korivain showing a little bit of disdain for our Digging Game.
Man, didn't even get 1 rupee per dig that time either.
Korivain momentarily forgetting that this is not the light world and you actually have to go up via that staircase.
Grabs our friend Jeremiah. See how much of a world tour he's going to take him on, or if he's just going to go right on over here, do hammer pegs, and turn him right on in. Ganon's meanwhile finally jumping into the front of Thiefstown here. After grabbing up these first 4 chests, we'll see if Ganon decides to go any further down through the dungeon and see if they find any more items.
Alright, well, nothing there in hammer pegs. We're going to get a turn-in of our favorite resident bullfrog. And then probably purple chest, which we could easily glitch through after K45, so we can actually use the boots the rest of the way. Alright, so a little bit of a routing difference here. GanonsGoneWild is just going to go ahead and make use of that fire rod right now, please and thank you. There is one more item in Skullwoods to take out, as well as a 5/6 crystal.
That is true, and I can guarantee you'll see Ganons go right onto the back, not waste any time, and go drop him down into Mothula right away. No reason not to. You have one item left. You have to kill Mothula regardless. Let's go ahead and kill it before making any other checks in hopes that that's where our last item is. Korivain over in K45 finding our 3rd bottle with some blue goo today. That's always a welcome sight when you get one of those for free.
Yep, not only is it a bottle, but it comes preloaded.
I'm gonna make a quick trip up to check Stumpy and just get 20 rupees for their efforts. You know, Ganon's making their way to the back of Skull Woods here, noticing they're a little bit low on magic, so they decided to pull out the lamp to hit a few of these torches here.
So this is interesting. Korivain not seeming to be... Oh, there we go. Never mind. I don't know if they're terribly familiar with the relatively new purple chest glitch that we found.
Either way, they're dropping it off for the time being and heading over to Hype Cave. Just at the same time that Ganons drops into Mothula. We're kind of out of magic here, so all we got ourselves today is some sword spins for this thing, unless we want to pull out that green bottle, I believe, that we got earlier. Gotta be careful, we're down to 3.5 hearts already.
Yeah, keep in mind we do have a fairy.
Mothula wasn't playing nice there, didn't want to really get off the spikes, but the last spin takes it out. We're only getting a compass for our troubles, but that's crystal number 2 for GanonsGoneWild. 32 minutes on into the match, giving them a 2-1 advantage.
Yeah, but at this point, things are starting to dry up a little bit. The only other crystal we can complete at this point is Desert. We need the bow for Eastern and Pod, and we need the Cane of Samaria at the very least for Mire and Turtle Rock. We're also going to need that Ice Rod, but we know where that is. Wow, Smith Chain giving us both boomerangs, blue in the purple chest and red on the Smiths.
Oof, and that's almost insult to injury. All the way down there, had to wait for the bunny sprite to wear out, and Ganons just gets the big key. Has to go back to the big chest to find the last item. Meanwhile, though, Korivain giving us a look at that desert ledge, and that was a bow just kind of chilling over there.
It was, and you know, sometimes I wonder, because sometimes, yeah, you don't have any bombs, bud. Whoops, so wait, oh, yeah.
Doesn't have the flute yet.
Right, I forgot. I wonder, because sometimes the bow is miscolored, and I don't know if that's just a result of where it's found, or if that's actually an implication that it should be the second bow for you to find logically.
I believe it just has to do with it sitting in the overworld. Because if I do recall correctly, the fire shield when sitting in the overworld is also miscolored. So I believe it's just a palette glitch.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Most likely. Meanwhile, that entire Skull Woods for GanonsGoneWild just ended up giving him a bug net, which probably not exactly what we were looking for. Meanwhile, we are going to see our first medallion requirement of the... I can't see it from there, but there we go.
There
Alright,
it
so,
is.
Quake. You know, for a moment, I thought the GanonsGoneWild was going to be able to see it, and that we were just going to be sitting here going, I don't know, what's the medallion requirement? I can't tell.
Luckily, he went far enough up there to give us a little bit of an earth-shattering discovery.
I guess he's quaking in his boots. No, you definitely want to grab that.
Don't rock him gently. Anyways, went and grabbed that bow off the desert ledge, heading on into Desert Palace. This is a completable dungeon.
Yep, and this is the, well, not the last one on the list anymore, since we do have that bow. So afterwards, we are likely going to get a very nice, quick clear of Pod and Eastern.
You know what else clearing Pod then would open up for us?
I have no idea. What would clearing Pod open up for us?
That, I believe, is our second 5/6 crystal. Skull Woods being the other one. However, I'm going to kind of hold you there. Korivain finding our red cane and tempered sword hiding out in Sahasrah's closet.
Are we in medallion mode? I think we're in medallion mode.
We do pretty much know the location of everything else. I believe you're correct there.
This is yeah, this is still going fairly quickly. That's nice. A lot of times these seeds that start up with a rather roaring engine end up cooling down rather rapidly. This one has not done that too terribly much. So we definitely need Quake, and we potentially need Bombos as well, since we don't officially know the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock.
Yep, and don't forget too, we still do have an Ega 1 looming in front of us as well, so there's still quite a ways to go. Ooh, now this is unfortunate. Korivain making the dip into Pod unfortunately does not have their bow though, since they are lacking the flute that's hiding over in King's Tomb.
Yep, all hope is not quite lost, though, since we do officially in V31 have 2 progressive bows. So it is definitely possible that the second bow could be sitting in here, especially with that first bow being fully in logic.
It's equally as possible that that second bow could be, you know, sitting on Helmasaur or something else in the like.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
No bow, no problem though for Korivain, using a little bit of a potion camera unlock glitch. Just walking those mimics right off the screen, making the room think that you've killed them all, and the door magically opens. However, at the same time, Ganon's making quick work there. Land moles taking them down, getting crystal number 3 here, 37 minutes into our match.
Yeah, Fire Rod definitely toasts Land Molus, so getting that early and being able to go through there and just take out those Land Molus in 6 shots, definitely an ideal situation.
Yep, and those shots are all well executed on Ganon's side. Before we go any further, we're going to make a stop here in Checkerboard. Let's see what we got hiding down here today. And of course, another one of those ever-present big 20s of the seed.
Yep, and then now we will see Agana's Cave, which is a location that Korivain skipped because they did not have any bombs at the time.
Running out of bombs, something you never really anticipate to happen, especially in a randomizer seed with how many different spots and chests that you open up that usually do contain bombs. When it happens, though, it definitely does kind of hurt and always weighs on your mind. Today, however, it's just hiding for us our very first Fisher-Price shield.
Yep, I imagine the eastern area is going to be next for Ganon's Gone Wild. So we're going to get a pod clear, an eastern clear, a Sahasrah's closet clear, and then, as you alluded to earlier, probably that pyramid fairy as well. Well, depending on what's in the rest of this, because if we pick up some medallions between these two dungeons, we won't need anything else.
That's correct, and Ganons will not know that yet until they do check Sahasrah's closet. I can almost guarantee we might see them pull out the mirror and check it here, maybe? Yep, right. Get a mirror right in front of the location where Sahasrah's hut is in the light world. Hop on in, and they're going to get the good news of the Tempered Sword and their Cane of Samaria here very shortly.
Meanwhile, Korivain is heading into Eastern now. That's another spot we have not seen from either of our runners, so we're going to get a couple new checks here.
Everything Korivain was able to check in the Palace of Darkness ended up being a bust. Had to move on to the next dungeon. Still looking for that bow or the flute or a book to be able to get to the other bow. Still a few more pieces of the puzzle that Korivain's looking for here that Ganon's Gone Wild has just fortunately been able to route in nicely this seed.
Yeah, and while King's Tomb isn't terrible to get to, Korivain just didn't clear those Northern Dark World locations, so just hasn't quite gotten to it yet. And the longer he puts that off, the harder it's going to be to keep this a close race.
Yep, because as far as we know it right now, that flute is our only access in the desert because that book has yet to show its face. Korivain definitely needs to hurry up and make their way right on over to King's Tomb and grab that flute so they can put a few more pieces of this puzzle together tonight.
And actually, after we're done with the eastern area for Ganon's Gone Wild, we could definitely see a situation where they head over, check Pyramid Fairy, and then mirror and do Aghanim.
It would be a decent time to route it in, just depends on how soon Ganon's Gone Wild thinks about going up that mountain, because I can almost guarantee we'll see that Agaplay before either of our runners make another climb on up.
Oh yeah, most definitely, especially because they're both sitting on Fire Rod and Cane of Samaria, so the Ice Rod is the only thing that's preventing them from full clearing Turtle Rock, provided that, Ether is actually what's required to open it up.
Armos Knights is housing an item. Nothing, though, in Eastern Palace to help Korivain along the way at all. They're saving and quitting, and they're going to reevaluate here. Looks like they're going to start up at the Mountain Cave and go from there.
And I'll tell you what, we still haven't seen those flippers, so everything is right and well in the world. Korivain making a liar out of you pretty much immediately.
Well, climb up the mountain we go, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they're really fixated on finding the bow or the flute or something to give them more access. probably not thinking too terribly clearly about the potential of doing Aghanim and just taking out Turtle Rock while you're here.
Yeah, the only thing that could potentially be saving at this point is if Turtle Rock needs either Bombos or Quake to open, which would mean that we'd need another climb up the mountain either way. But we shall see, I'm sure, very, very shortly here.
Yeah, the only way that ends up being a saving grace, even so, is if there's nothing in Turtle Rock. If Turtle Rock has some sort of progression, and it's Ether. That's
and
rough.
It's Ether. That is unfortunate. We can enter Turtle Rock. We can complete Turtle Rock after an Aga play.
And honestly, part of this could just be pressure. You know, GanonsGoneWild is a well-known, very good runner of this game. And when you're facing someone who's really, really good, as we do find a book in Hookshot Cave, so another way to get that bow. But if you're facing someone who you know is really good, regardless of your own skill level, you tend to think about it a little bit.
And to be fair, it is, of course, week 1 of the Season 2 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. Still probably a good amount of nerves that are going around for quite a few of these runners as they get settled kind of into a little bit of a rhythm here.
So I have a question. Has Korivain forgotten about the Ice Rod? Or are they just at this point submitting themselves to the double dip?
It's a very good question. I would almost say that they were just going to go ahead and open up Turtle Rock while they're up here, just to get the thing opened. But regardless, they're going to have to climb the mountain one more time before they can even complete Turtle Rock, so I couldn't really tell you. It looks like opening it was just the play. It's a save and quit on Korivain's side. GanonsGoneWild making their way further through the Palace of Darkness. Just got a quick little room here away from them and a date with the Helmasaur King.
You know, based upon the rapid menuing there on Korivain's side, I wouldn't be surprised if they thought they had the Ice Rod.
As Korivain makes their way on over to Desert Palace with that book, GanonsGoneWild is now on their fight with the Helmasaur King. 17 hits to the face with that hammer. Or if you're feeling a little bit spicy, you could use bombs. A few more slashes here with the sword, and down it goes. That right there is crystal number 4 here for GanonsGoneWild, and our second of the 5-6 crystals.
Yep, before anyone jumps on Pyramid Fairy potential, we are going to get a full clear of Eastern in just a moment, which will be our 6th crystal, or 5th crystal of 7. For GanonsGoneWild, but then I do imagine we're going to get a Pyramid Fairy clear at that point.
Probably something along those lines, but as far as we know, since we do know that Ether is needed for Turtle Rock, we are on a Quake hunt at this point. That is the last item that we are looking for here.
Yeah, we do still have quite a few locations for it. Several of those locations are sitting in Turtle Rock.
That would just kind of be interesting if one medallion dungeon was hiding the key to the other medallion dungeon.
I mean, would it even be close to the first time?
That is a very valid point. The worst case, though, would be if they end up finding the flippers, which would then kind of point us down a rabbit hole of a few pendant dungeons there.
Honestly, I think worst case scenario might be finding the flippers and then having Quake beyond blind.
Man, if you're gonna say it's on blind, just go all the way and just say Quake sitting on the pedestal.
Well, no, because then you find the flippers, but you don't need them. Now, I don't know what our runners would do in that instance, because getting the, I believe, 2 items left in Thieves Town would be quicker than trying to find 3 in Ice Palace, or, you know, the 6, well, 7, including the green pendant for Swamp. But I feel that people just don't really like double dipping stuff, especially when they have agreed that they're going to do half of it and then walk away.
You know, double dipping any dungeon, really no matter what it is, just never feels the greatest. And here we go, Korivain making their way down to Desert Ledge, picks up their bow. They finally now can complete a couple more crystal dungeons here this evening.
Yeah, the interesting thing here, though, is that Korivain's going to finish this dungeon and then probably finish Pod and Eastern. But from that point, still not going to have any real progression. Could also go ahead and take out Mothula as well. But there's nothing here, unless we have something on... I mean, yeah, even at that case, it wouldn't matter, because the only thing we could really have on Armos at this point is Quake, or some sort of diverting item.
If there actually being any significant item on Armos Knights, would probably be the worst thing that could happen for Korivain if they do beeline it right over to that side of the map. Pretty much push them a little bit further away from that flute, unfortunately.
Yeah, and with the way that's situated, that's going to require a save and quit. You got to save and quit from Sanctuary. It's most definitely the fastest way to go ahead and get there.
You know, Korivain onto their fight with Lanmolis. Missing a few of the fire rod shots, going to have to deal with some tempered sword spins and slashes here. Just down to one more Landmole. And at the same time, Ganon's jumping into Armos Knights. Setting up for a different looking bit of a quick kill here, but not quite getting it right off the top, perhaps. Nope. That does not matter. Getting it back, no problem. Only getting a piece of heart, however, for those works. And at the same time that Korivain is taking out Lanmolis, getting their second crystal, GanonsGoneWild takes down Armos Knights. That's their 5th crystal of the evening.
And we are going to get a recheck of Agonis Cave here. Nothing important, but Korivain is going to go ahead and strike that location off the map. And we're just getting an Aghanim play here. We are not getting Pyramid Fairy. That's interesting.
You know your next play is probably going to go up the mountain. Turtle Rock is very, very diverse with items. Has quite a few checks. You got a number of other checks as well on the Dark Death Mountain. Let's go ahead and knock out Ega 1. Let's grab our Ice Rod and let's go on up there and knock it all out in one big old fell swoop here.
I mean, that's a very valid point. But GanonsGoneWild doesn't know that. GanonsGoneWild has no idea that Turtle Rock is in fact Ether.
Could always be playing the odds, though, that it could be Ether. And like I said before, going back up the mountain, may as well grab that Ice Rod just in case.
That's fair. This also does make Pyramid Fairy a bit quicker, which is not something I considered initially. So, with Aghanim done, you can go ahead and take that portal, which does prevent a little bit of the runaround that you'd have to do otherwise.
Korivain said, looks like they're jumping right back into Skull Woods. They're going to take that fire rod right to the back, knocking out Mothula here very shortly.
Yep, I imagine along with that, since Korivain does have the book, we might very well have a ped check coming up.
Yeah, there really wouldn't be any better time to go ahead and take a look at what's sitting up there.
Alright, so while GanonsGoneWild is running through this dungeon and Korivain gets ready to fight an overgrown bug, we do have a game that we like to play that's quite a bit less well known as compared to the GT Big Key game, mainly just because we play it quite a bit less than we do the other one. But There are a potential of 15 blue balls that Aghanim can shoot at you. So go ahead and get your guesses in chat, 0 through 15. How many do you think our meddling wizard is going to give us today? Spy Weaver, what is your guess?
Yeah, we're gonna go with the number of 3. 3 always seems like a decent number for these blue ball shots. What are you thinking here, Hammer?
You know, I think we're going to get an even pair. I'm going to go a little nicer than you. Let's get it done in 2 cycles. Give me 2 blue balls.
Alright. We're going to somehow magically make Zelda disappear again, even though she was just sitting in the sanctuary. And into our Ega 1 fight.
Alright, and for those of you who do not know the mathematics of this, basically how it works is we have the first shot, as GanonsGoneWild is playing us the song of his people. The first shot of the 5 cycle is always reflectable. The second through fourth shots are 50-50. And the 5th shot is always, well, that.
What's going on again inside Korivain, making quick work of Mothula with that tempered sword, a mixture of slashes and spins. That is crystal number 3 for Korivain. And I believe on Ganon's side, that was an entire, 0 blue balls today?
Yeah, very friendly. The seed giving us a little bit of convenience here. Look, I know Aghanim's required. I get it. I know. I'm mean. I'm sorry for putting the ice rod on Lumberjack Ledge. Here, have an Aghanim that doesn't stink.
And for all intents and purposes, shoutouts to Lilifin being the first person to throw a 0 in chat. Congratulations. Nice little fun tidbit there. As soon as you do defeat Aga 1, you can no longer save and quit in the Dark World and show up in the Light World. You have to actually mirror to the Light World before you can do that. We're getting a pen check on Korivain's side. It's just some couch cash day, so no goodies there. We do not need to pull the ped.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I was hoping.
Look, we gave you an Aga 1 fight. We gave you something on Lumberjack Ledge, even though you already had Dark World access. Just take what we give you here. Just go with it.
No, I wanted Oops All Dungeons.
Well, you can do that on your own time. Apparently, it's not happening in this seed today.
Yeah, I'm fully aware I do it on my own time. Anyways, we are getting a checkup here for GanonsGoneWild. This is a very, very mathematically sound check. We have all of Dark Death Mountain available for GanonsGoneWild. Obviously, we do know personally what some of those items are, but they do not. In addition, we are going to be able to full clear Turtle Rock, and that includes Mimic Cave, which is really nice not to orphan that. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we put Quake in Hera?
Oh, man. You just had to bring that one up. I was sitting here thinking about it. I mean, we did leave an item in Hera Big Chest. What? How funny would it be if...
I don't think the funny that you're looking for is funny, ha ha. I think it's more like funny, oh.
There's a half magic on Bumper Ledge. Korivain kind of gave it half a thought, went and stared at it a little bit, and decided, no, we're gonna move on. Kind of admittedly, though, Bumper Ledge is kind of one of those that's a little bit more out of the way than you'd like it to be for a convenience item like that.
I mean, unless we're allowing overworld glitches, we can't get to it right now anyways.
That is a good point. I did forget we don't have the cape quite yet.
It's difficult to remember. We've got a whole bunch of stuff, and yeah, it all happened relatively quickly, so it's kind of hard to keep track. This is one of those seeds that's free and easy with key items, we'll say. GanonsGoneWild grabbing that book. You know, I don't believe that Korivain ever checked Ether Tablet. Am I incorrect about that?
I believe you're correct. We also do have an Ether tablet that we could check. Again, is heading on over here to TR, taking a look, sees it's Ether, makes the decision, yep, we are going to go on over here.
Alrighty, and Korivain just a couple seconds away from getting their flute. Thank goodness.
Yep, and one slash for good measure. Flying on out of there. I can imagine we'll see them activate that flute here in a matter of moments.
Meanwhile, it is most likely into Turtle Rock we go. We could see a quick diversion over to Ether Tablet, but I don't think we're going to.
Yep, the Ether Tablet's a little out of the way. May as well go through Turtle Rock first. If you don't find the item you need in here, then I guess you can go ahead and check that. Maybe Spike Cave on the way out. We'll see, though.
Meanwhile, at just under an hour here, Korivain is unleashing his own Quacken, so we are good to go there.
With that flute in hand, immediately flies right over to the Misery Mire area. Of course, doesn't have that knowledge yet that Misery Mire does require Quake to get into. We'll be getting that here very, very shortly. And there it is. Takes a good hard look at it. Remembers it don't quite have that medallion yet, so let's go check the shed and move on.
Alright, so far nothing in Turtle Rock to speak of. Had a couple of nice iframe incidents over on GanonsGoneWild side. We are going to be moving right along.
Plenty of Turtle Rock left to go. As we make our way through that, where do you think that Quake medallion is hiding here for us today, Hammer?
I mean, we have a decent amount of options here, even if we're ignoring the two pendants that we can't get into at this exact moment. We still have, I believe, 2 items over in Thieves Town. We've got the Hera Big Chest, which is probably my personal favorite. We have both of the tablets, and I believe we also have Spike Cave. So let's go for absolute insanity. I want to see it sitting in that Hera Big Chest. Where are you putting Quake for us today?
See, neither of our runners have kind of been over in this. Well, they've been in the vicinity. I don't believe either of them had the rupees for it at the time. I would almost bet it could be sitting on Zora, because we haven't seen that yet.
Oh no. I had forgotten about Zora. Oh no. That's equally evil. I don't think have we seen Catfish? Yeah, I believe we did. It was a big 20.
That was big 20.
Yeah, so Zora is really isolated. Oof, this could get fun.
And they have seen the ledge. I do believe they both know that there's nothing of value on the ledge today. But of course, when they did make that check, they did not have enough rupees to go ahead and pay the big fish for whatever item he was hiding.
Yeah, we do have quite a few items that are somewhat isolated at this point. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ether Tablet and Spike Cave checked on GanonsGoneWild side as soon as we finish up with Turtle Rock, just because that would fully clear everything in the mountain, and then we can, well, other than that Hera Big Chest, that would be an interesting gamble. We could see GanonsGoneWild go back into Hera. I don't think it'll happen, but if they're going to do it, now is the time. Either that, or like you said, it's going to be the absolute last location checked.
Yeah, I can guarantee both of our runners are at that position where they're sitting here thinking, you know, that's the last location. If there's an item there I need, you know, I'm fine with last location it. If that's why I lose, that is going to be why I lose this seed. Usually, that's kind of the thinking that you need to have in your mind when you decide to leave an item like that sitting back in a dungeon. 3.5 hearts here for GanonsGoneWild, jumping back on into Turtle Rock. Nothing to Mimic Cave. Nothing so far that we're looking for inside this Turtle Rock. We do continue on. We have Trinex and we have a laser bridge still ahead of us.
Which, honestly, after all these checks, if we don't find anything of any importance in Turtle Rock, this might be the only time that's ever happened.
Well, I mean, we already have our first bow, so that can't be in its vanilla location of the last laser bridge chest. We already have the ice rod, so that can't be in the very same vanilla location of last laser bridge chest.
Now, hold on here. Let's get something straight. The last chest in laser bridge traditionally holds a small key. Let's keep that straight. I know Randomizer likes throwing important things there that shouldn't be there, and no one should put them there, but they're there anyway. But let's not confuse the good people who haven't played the vanilla game very much. The last item in this laser bridge that we're coming up on is a small key.
Yes, actual vanilla item is small key. Randomizer vanilla, it's yet to be seen. First chest, we're starting off with 20 rupees, though. GanonsGoneWild need to be careful here. He's got 2.5 hearts, but does have a fairy. At the same time, Korivain knocking down, knocking down Ega 1. And we just found our flippers. That's a big oh boy right there.
Oh no.
That opens up two other pendant dungeons that we don't want to have to open up, and they're completely completable now. But after using that fairy, GanonsGoneWild is going to take the safety door here just in case, and I like his thinking here. It takes 2 seconds to step out and back in. Let's grab it just in case things do go south.
Yes, this is not the time to do something silly.
Oh, and there it is, Quake, sitting in the last chest of Laser Bridge. I kind of half almost maybe called it. But there you go. 1 hour, 5 minutes, and about 40 seconds into the match. That is a go mode for GanonsGoneWild. Let's go.
You know, I feel like in spite of all the ice rod locations and everything else that we've seen on Laser Bridge, that may have single-handedly been the cheekiest laser bridge I've ever personally seen.
I would almost have to agree. The very last chest that you can check inside of one dungeon that is closed off by a medallion, holding the medallion for your other medallion-locked dungeon. After, mind you, giving you the flippers, making you think that you might have to go into some pendants. That was oof.
And especially the way the GanonsGoneWild checked it, you literally went from the worst item you could have pulled at that exact moment to the one you were looking for.
Yeah, if it was I got you, here's the flippers, you're gonna have to go with some pendants. Oh, never mind, I'm just messing with it. Here's the item you need. But with that, with 3.5 hearts, GanonsGoneWild is on their Trinex fight. 2 of the heads down already. A couple more slashes away. And the third one will be toast, and there it goes. Trinex is down at 1 hour, 7 minutes in. That is crystal number 6 for GanonsGoneWild. Got a quick flute here to Misery Mire, and a go mode Misery Mire ahead of us. Then we might have a climb up the tower. Buckle on in. This seed is about to get fast, very quick here. So we've reached the conclusion.
Yeah, you know, and this seed wasn't nearly as unfriendly as it could have been. I've seen a lot of seeds like this open up fairly nicely and then just completely and totally mess you over with a single item somewhere or other. But this one wasn't too bad at all, and I think the clearing times for both our runners are going to show that.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, it did try to fake you out. It shows you that ice rod on the lumberjack ledge. However, you did get every other item that you needed for Turtle Rock before even needing to climb the mountain a second time. You end up going up that mountain with 1 medallion, and lo and behold, you can clear Turtle Rock as long as you grab that ice rod that first time. Just from there on out, everything else just seemed to fall right into our runners' laps as long as they made their early Sphere 0 checks and just kept clearing these crystal dungeons.
Yeah, the only thing that really got in Korivain's way was that flute location. Flute in King's Tomb led to the bow, and if they had gotten that flute knocked out, then they would have been able to clear Eastern and Pod the first time going in, and we'd have a much closer race right now. But unfortunately, that late check at King's Tomb kind of did him in.
You know, I would almost say that flute in King's Tomb was kind of a little bit more of a trolley location than the Ice Rod and Lumberjack Ledge. At the very least, Lumberjack Ledge there, you knew what was sitting there, you knew it was there. All you need to do is just do a quick little map check to see if you need it or not. And oh my goodness, there is a big key. This is going to be a speedy Misery Mire, folks.
Yeah, no quotations on go mode for the mire today. That's something that you frequently have to do. You say go mode mire, but you mean maybe not go mode mire. Today, we actually got to get through here pretty quickly.
Get in, get your key, and get the heck out. You got more important bosses to slay. Korivain's making their way through the Turtle Rock play. They are in the right location that they need to be in right now, and this is definitely good for them. They're just a little ways behind. You have a few extra double dips that GanonsGoneWild didn't need to do so far.
Yeah, and at this point, the tracking scoreboard here makes it look far worse than it actually is. That Eastern Palace and Pod that are not lit up, not going to take very long for Korivain to go back to.
Nope, those are going to be two quick back-to-backs. GanonsGoneWild giving you a good look at some spooky action there. Fooling the game to think you're a few cells higher than you are, shooting that fire rod out, and then the splash damage actually takes care of these switches, activating them for you, even though you're not in the right areas. But right on into the Vidi fight, opting for some spin strats here. And not quite dipping all the way into the goo and taking some hits. But still dipping in pretty close, taking some spins. Gonna have to be careful down to 3 hearts. Does not have a fairy any longer. For a few slashes here to try to knock the last one down. There goes the last mini eye. Let's pull out this bow. 8 shots to the big eye. And that should be all that remains of that boss. And there we go. With Vitreous down, that is crystal number 7. And do you know what that means, Hammer?
I do, in fact. A little slow on Pyramid Fairy, but I think I've got this one figured out. So, guys, speaking of games that we like to play, before I ask, did somebody start? All right, awesome. You started the
way ahead.
You got ahead of me there. Alrighty, cool. So we have 22 locations in Ganon's Tower basement that could have the big key. One of them does, we just don't know where it is. So, get your guesses in chat as you see several other people doing. 1 through 22, where is that big key? No zeros, no fractions, no decimals. Keep the numbers valid and, you know, not irrational, please. Anyways, what is your guess today?
Almost kind of feel like a broken record at this point, but for me, I'm going with a good old-fashioned number of 14. Usually ends up somewhere down in the middle, and honestly, 14 seems to work for me. How about you?
Cool. I think I'm going to go different from my usual one. I'm going to take a number kind of out of nowhere. I'm going to say 6. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you. But we're going to go with 6 today.
Mixing it up, I like it. Hurry up and get those guesses in chat, folks, because once GanonsGoneWild does enter Ganon's Tower, we'll be closing the game up. Just got a quick climb right back up the mountain and dash on over to the tower, and that'll be all we got here. As Korivain continuing to make their way through Turtle Rock, it's about to Laser Bridge, where they'll be finding the last item that they are going to need to finish off this seed here.
Yep, and even so, we do not have silvers, but we do have Tempered Sword. And regardless of what we find or don't find in the tower itself, this Ganon fight, not going to be too bad.
Yep, that is correct. The Tempered Sword actually has the biggest jump in damage differential between its predecessor compared to any other sword upgrade. Runners won't scoff at the 4th sword if they find it, but they definitely don't need it. The biggest jump that you can get is, of course, that Master Sword or Tempered Sword once you do get Tempered. Most of the runners are fairly happy and content at that point. The last few seconds here, we got a spin of the crystals, a lowering of the staircase. Get your last guesses on in here, because once Ganons does enter in, we are ending the game.
I feel like there's two main reasons why Tempered is vastly superior to Master Sword. The first one, obviously, being in the Ganon fight, because Master Sword means that... Uh-oh. Yeah, there we go.
Oh! As Korivain finds those flippers for some slashes, GanonsGoneWild finds our big key in Open Room and chest number 2. This seed just keeps on giving. Here we go.
So can we rename this to, like, Mazda headquarters?
Vroom vroom?
Zoom zoom.
Anyways, guessing number 2, Sigma 6, the first one to get that one in the chat. Congratulations, you're the winner of the Big Heat Guessing Game today, scoring yourself 37 points on the leaderboard. And here we go. Korivain has yet to open up that last chest there on Laser Bridge to get the good news that, nope, you don't need to dive of those pendant dungeons.
Oh no!
What are we doing, Korivain? Oh no. Oh no.
No, go back! No, go, no,
You left a chest, bud. Go back, please. For the love of all that is holy.
I was actually kind of hoping that Pokey was going to get him. I mean, we can hope for a Trinex death and then maybe a double take here, but...
For his sanity and his sake, I really hope we do get a Trinex death here. I really do. I hate to say that, I hate to wish that on somebody, but I really hope he takes that death here so we can see that he left that chest and just decides to go ahead and check. And he did go ahead and give a few slashes when he found those flippers. I really hope he's not too caught up in the fact that he got those flippers and is thinking, oh, there we go. Phew!
Please see the chest.
Please see the chest. Please open the chest this time, Korivain. Please! It's there. It's... No!
Is this a situation where they don't think they've gotten either the map or the compass?
I'm not entirely sure. Something might be going on there. They're probably still fixated on the fact that we got those flippers and are just a little aggravated at the fact that we need to go inside and find some, dive some pendant dungeons here. That last chest that he's running right on by is Quake. That's for Misery Mire access. But don't let that distract you from the fact that over on the other side, GanonsGoneWild is making quick work of this gauntlet up here. Already going through some of the most satisfying rooms in the game. A few well-placed Samaria blocks and blasts. And all those Wizrobes are nothing but mincemeat.
You know, I feel like if you do this gauntlet as well as GanonsGoneWild just did, there's no such thing as a more satisfying room. Everything is just satisfying because that was insane.
That is a good point. He's making his way up to the final few rooms there. Korivain does take down Trinex, grabs that map, and their 4th crystal of the evening. Hopefully they realize what they did and decide to go back on in and find that chest. It's going to be a long walk, but oof, that's definitely not good. Of course, again, it's opening up these last few chests, looking for either another sword or silvers or maybe another safety, one of the two. But looks like, unfortunately, Korivain is mirroring and going to flute away. Definitely not what you want to see here at this point. That is unfortunate.
Meanwhile, we get a nice cape on the second to last chest in the game for GanonsGoneWild, so that'll come in handy.
Hey, want to go back and get yourself some half magic?
Yeah, if we can find it.
It's sitting right there on Bumper Ledge, just waiting for you.
Oh yeah, that's right, good call. We definitely need to do that first. We can make Ganon wait just a couple more minutes.
After a little bit of explosion taking down Moldorm, the last chest, the apex chest in the game, hiding a little bit more explosiveness. 3 bombs for us. All that's separating GanonsGoneWild now from their Ganondate. There's a little bit of egonometry here.
Alrighty, this first pattern doesn't look too terribly bad, and a nice triple.
And setting up even better here for another one. Oh, not fast enough.
That was robbery right there.
That was a little bit of matrix move by Aghanim there. A 3-2-1. And down goes Aga 2. That was a quick flight away on Albatross Air and a jump down the Pyramid of Power. And we got ourselves a date with the Big Pig.
Yep, at 1 hour and 19 minutes. I think Ganon was hoping to rule the Dark World a little longer than this, but I feel like his date with Destiny is imminent.
This is true. Ganon wondered why he has to rule over a world full of stereotypes so he can just create a world of his own. Sometimes a valid point.
I don't know. My favorite one is the one that basically says, "I'll start encouraging thinking outside the box when I see any evidence of people thinking inside of it."
I know some quick use of the hookshot iframes there. We're already out of phase 2 into phase 3 for GanonsGoneWild. 4 hits in this phase if Ganon wants to play nice and sit still. With each new hit, a new side of the arena falls down.
So I heard that Aghanim was required, and that Aghanim gave you 0 blue balls. Yeah, hold on. I got this.
Apparently, Ganon is... Hello, Ganon! Let's slow down there. I don't think you can really cash in those frequent flyer miles anymore. Come on. Come on, there we go.
Honestly, I think the GanonsGoneWild may have encouraged his nemesis to, in fact, yeah, go wild.
Ganon giving us the news that the silver arrows were in fact hiding in Misery Mire, but with Misery Mire being the go mode dungeon of the day and of course a god mire, there was no chance we were going to be seeing those. But now we're on to a silverless final phase. Has a good setup here. Not as easy as it looks. You got to knock that spin off just the right couple of frames, otherwise you run the risk of freezing Ganon and actually not doing any damage whatsoever.
Yep, we are halfway through with 6 spins right now. We do need 12. So we're at 7 and then 8 there. And we have what's probably going to be 1 more triple and then a solo to finish them off.
There's 1. There's 2. At the same time, Korivain is in the Helmasaur, making quick work of Helmasaur King. I believe GanonsGoneWild has 1 more hit left. Let's see it. Maybe. Almost. There it is. That is the final spin. Ladies and gentlemen, a 1x3 bridge is all that separates GanonsGoneWild from taking the second game of Week 1 here in the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 2. Let's wait for it here. Get your GGs in chat. There it is. GanonsGoneWild crosses the bridge in first. Official SRL time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 49 seconds.
And it looks like we have a pause from Korivain here. A pull of probably some mild frustration.
That looks like right there we do have a forfeit as well from Korivain, unfortunately. So get your GGs in chat for Korivain. Well played by both of our runners. Just unfortunately, that last chest hiding the item that was necessary. It was kind of dashed right on past that.
And speaking of, we are joined in the booth by GanonsGoneWild. GG, my friend.
GG, guys.
That seed was pretty nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was pretty jet-like. My teammate Relkin had pretty much the exact opposite of that, so I guess it just averages out.
Or you can just sit there and brag that the rando likes you better. But
yeah.
Speaking of unfriendly, what did you think about that laser bridge?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the flippers and I was like really unhappy. I was like, oh boy, this has just got like 20 minutes longer. But then the sea decided to be nice.
That was a nice little quick gotcha showing you. Here's the flippers. Here, go have fun in a couple more pendant dungeons. Oh wait, never mind. Here's your go mode item. Go ahead and go have fun.
Yeah, I was also really worried about the big chest in Hera because I skipped that. I wasn't sure if Korivain would also skip that. So.
And speaking of Korivain as well, we're also joined here in chat by Korivain. GG's, Korivain.
Thank you. So embarrassing.
Nah, it happens.
I almost never miscount my items in any dungeon, but TR especially, I'm always very careful about it. So when GanonsGoneWild told me where Quake was, I face pumped pretty hard.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were wondering there, if you ended up miscounting or what kind of happened there, but I think that answers our question.
I did indeed. I miscounted, and I even checked my menu. You probably saw me pull up my menu, and I checked and saw that I was still missing the map, I think, and just my brain automatically said, oh yeah, the map's in that chest, go for it. Plus, I just found flippers, so my mind was like, oh crap, Quake's behind the flippers, so yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the cheekiest laser bridge I've ever personally seen. It literally goes from, hey, guess what? You've got Swamp and Ice Palace, and then it goes, oh, I'm just kidding, here's Go Mode.
So, the early game, too, was hiding quite a boatload of items. Kind of start here with you, Gans. What was kind of going through your mind when you saw all those items that are sitting in the front of Escape for you?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that many items in the front of Escape. That was just super crazy. So, but yeah, I mean, once I found the hammer, I was like, whoa, this seed is crazy.
It's kind of fast and furious there for you. I think you were the first one to take a look at Lumberjack and find the ice rod there, Korivain. What did that kind of get you thinking about?
I knew exactly what the seed was going to be about as soon as I saw that. I went in there and saw that, and I was like, oh no. And then, of course, I got to Dark World eventually and checked my map, and I was like, oh no.
That's pretty accurate. Actually, honestly, for that portion of it, the siege ended up being much friendlier than it could have been.
I agree. For the first 30 minutes or so, on my side at least, the seed was pretty straightforward. It was giving us lots of items. And then it dried up for another 30 minutes for me. And then it gave me everything I needed for Go Mode, except I didn't know Myers' medallion. And as soon as I checked that, I was like, sad.
Yeah, that was definitely a little bit of an unfortunate set of circumstances there with it. You know, like we said, that specific medallion hiding in another medallion dungeon and just the one chest you end up dashing on by. All that aside, though, I'd say it was definitely well ran and well routed by both of you today. So without saying, GG's to both of you.
Yeah, I think.
Let's start here with you on this one, Korivain. What are you most specifically looking forward to here these upcoming weeks as far as mode or just the league in general?
For which races I'm looking forward to, the 6th and 7th week, the spoiler log and the co-op races are guaranteed to be a good time. Besides that, Mystery Week is always, I think, really fun. Mystery Seeds are great because you can go halfway through them and then find out that you are completely off the wall going the wrong way.
You and I have a very different definition of fun. Alright, so same for you, GanonsGoneWild. What are you looking forward to in the upcoming weeks for this league?
Yeah, I think mostly just the co-op all dungeons should be fun. I've been practicing that a bit. It's pretty fun mode. Yeah, I'm not doing the Mystery Seed and Cross Keys week because I pretty much don't play those modes at all. So I'm just, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, so let's get a little closer, a little in the nearer future. We do have Ambrosia coming up in week 2. It is a new game mode for those of you who don't know. It is standard Assured Sword. There's a couple of twists. The first twist, which I'm sure most of you are going to love, is that your uncle's text, instead of being some sort of snarky comment, he tells you where the boots are. He says, hey, go to Misery Mire, dingus, that's where the boots are, or whatever. The other big change is that every boss has an item. So if you go into Eastern, for instance, and you get 2 items out of there and you can't beat Armos, well, you're not going to find the third one unless you beat Armos. So those are the main differences that I know off the top of my head. Are either of you guys going to be running Ambrosia, and do you look forward to it if you are?
Yeah, I'm gonna be running it. I've never actually ran it before, so I should probably maybe do like a couple seeds before I try playing it. But I don't know. It's pretty close to open and standard. But yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just play pretty similarly.
I was not planning on racing next week, but Rywick issued a challenge that I could not refuse, so I will be doing it next week. But I've never done Ambrosia, just like GanonsGoneWild, so I'm going to have to put in some practices and see what the routing differences really are.
Oh, spicy! So that's a challenge. Is there like a bet of some sort going on?
There is not. However, on Discord, both of us have avatars with cats playing with controllers. So he issued a challenge and said, your cat playing with a controller avatar versus my cat playing with a controller avatar. I couldn't turn that down.
All right, so let's look forward to that matchup, guys. Week 2, you heard it here. Cats with controllers.
And I think with all that being said, we'll look for some last comments here. Korivain, any last comments from you about this seed or anything just in general here?
Nothing about the seed. GG's to GanonsGoneWild. Big shout out to both of you commentators and our tracker for putting all this together and everything. This was actually my first time being restreamed, so exciting and nervous.
Hey, well, GG, you did well.
Yeah, GG. And yeah, I just looking forward to continuing playing in the league. It should be fun. Thanks for everybody that's a part of the administration, all that stuff. Anyway, yeah, GG.
All right, how about you, Hammer? Any final closing comments or thoughts on your mind here for us today?
Yeah, I've got a couple, but there's 2 that I'm going to share. The first one is I'd like to officially give a shout out to Dark Diplomat, who was the man behind the tracker tonight. Pressing those buttons not easy, and this seed definitely didn't make it easy, as our items tended to come in slews, we'll say. The second thing I want to shout out real quick is if you guys have not gotten your fix of ALTTP Rando, we do have a couple more games going on tonight. In just about half an hour on this very channel, we have Gamachu versus Hacksaw. If you want to get a different race, starting at 9 o'clock here, which is about 17 minutes, on Speed Gaming 2, we have Zelda Fan versus OAC. Then we have another race starting at 10:10. That is Speed Gaming 3, Kermit versus Soap. That's all we have for tonight. There's a bunch of races going on tomorrow as well, and then just throughout the next 6 weeks, we're going to have a ridiculous amount of races. So keep your eye on the schedule to find your favorite matchups, and definitely tune in when you can, because this is a lot of rando and a lot of people who are very good at this game. Other than that, that is all I have. The only other thing I'm going to say is may your seeds be closer to this one than some of the other ones we've seen, because jet seeds are fun.
This is true. 64 teams this season, 192 runners. It's promising to be a good one for you. We got 7 weeks in the regular season, and we got a whole bunch of tournament and seeding action coming up for that after you. This league is going to run you all the way through the month of May. So if you can't get your fill of Randomizer, be sure to keep it here on the Speed Gaming family of networks 1 through 6. There's also the ALTTPR League channels. Be sure to check those out as well, as we'll be having some restream set up on them for you. Plenty of Link to the Past Randomizer coming your way. And I think with that being said, once again, huge shout outs to our tracker Dark Diplomat, pushing all the buttons behind the scenes. And huge shout outs as well to my good friend over here, Hammer Bro, putting up with me yet again for another night of Link to the Past Randomizer. And the biggest shout out of well to all of you out there watching us, because without you guys watching and improving and enjoying the show, we can't sit over here and do what we like to do. I think with that being said, from all of us here on Speed Gaming and up here in the booth, and for all of our runners, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch you all on the next seed. Have a good night, folks.